What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. We talk about this 30 FPS and 60 FPS thing, and I think what has happened is now a lot of people are starting to see the reality that has been in front of some of us for a while. And I think what's happened is some people are taking egg on the face and they don't want to basically either grapple with the reality or want to continue to believe what they feel should be, which is many people feel that every game should at least have 60 FPS mode. This should be the standard. I've seen a lot of people make these arguments. One thing a lot of people are not paying into or taking account to is when you actually think about video games and how they've actually run on multiple hardware, variations, it's always been based on the amount of hardware you had that could actually give you the metrics that you want in terms of performance. Like if you look at the, hardware requirements for Gotham Knights, anybody who's running anything that is a little lower than this, in a sense, is more than likely going to have some challenges overall, because this game has a lot of CPU limitations. I mean, look at the CPU, requirement for this thing. i5 9600K, Intel Core i7 700K, a Ryzen 5 5600X, and in this case, a Ryzen 5 3600X. These CPUs are much better than anything you find in the consoles. What I'm going to do in this video, and you notice that the quality is weird because I'm actually recording, with my camera, because I don't want any performance to actually cause any, I don't want if I record or if I capture directly from with this PC, it's going to affect my performance. In fact, I'm using a dual monitor setup and I already see that affecting my performance. So let's go ahead and try this out with a Ryzen 5 5500 and a RTX 6750 XT. Let's see what Gotham Knights is going to put out in terms of, performance. I mean, it's worth noting that this is the Xbox version of the game just running on PC. So I'll go to the options, we'll go to graphics. It's at 1080. It's running an AMD Radeon 6750 XT. Upscaling is off. The frame limit, I put it at 70 FPS. Now, let's do 60 just so that we can have the conversation for posterity. And then everything is at the highest setting. Now, one thing a lot of people are saying is you could have just reduced the resolution of this game to 1080 and gotten 60 FPS. But ladies and gentlemen, that's not how it works. Resolution and FPS are not always directly proportional. Now, in some cases, it can help, but this is not always the case. When you come to open world games, you really got to look at what it is that you're, talking about. So here the game is 60 FPS. It's locked to a 60. And I think it's going to stay at 60 FPS for the most part in terms of averages. Now, like I told you, the dual monitor setup is, something that I haven't necessarily tried and I think has some, in my opinion anyways, it has some kind of effect on the performance, but you're not going to really see too much of a difference overall. And you see that the game is basically locking at, 60 FPS. It's got some, little frame spikes here and there. In fact, I expect that when we get into some fights or some combat instances where we start firing up VFX, we're going to take some FPS hits. Believe it or not, this is the way this particular version of the game actually behaves. It literally does this, this Xbox version. I have some other versions of the game, and I can tell you that those other versions of the game, they actually do not behave like this. Okay, so let's jump into this fight. I'm going to try to talk and play. Ooh, guys, get ready to hold your ears. The screeching is going to be bad because I don't really know how to talk and do things like play a video game at the same time. I also want to make something clear. There's going to be a skew here. Once you get indoors in Gotham Knights, you hold 60 FPS strong. For some strange reason, I think, and I won't say some strange reason. Most games will unload the world out there after you reach a certain point. So let's not be surprised that this will give us good performance if it does, for the most part anyways. So let's see what happens here. Boom, poof, bow, pow, 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 dodge. Even dodge some more. This guy wants to hit me by all means. You want to ruin my streak. Right? So have we moved past the 60 FPS mark here? Have we done anything lower? Right? So at the end of the day, this is something that I kind of told you guys that you were going to see. You were going to see something of this nature. You're going to basically see how the game basically runs. Underground, it's going to run perfectly fine. But you cannot have this same performance on a CPU that does not meet the recommended specs from the developers. So again, the consoles, in fact, when I made these arguments back then, I should have actually looked at the specs, but we didn't even really have too much in terms of the CPU specs. But now we know exactly what CPU is in the Xbox Series X, and so it's very easy to actually come back and say a lot of these concerns and a lot of these complaints basically don't take these things into account. They basically just let everybody just say what they want because of what they feel. Now, I think what's wrong here in this picture is a lot of folk in the console ecosystem somehow now think because they've gotten 60 FPS in some games that every game ought to do it, when in reality your console has the hardware that your console has. Oh my gosh, I'm still playing. Oh my gosh, I'm doing it, guys. I made it. There are a bunch of bad guys here. Let's dispatch them. You watch the FPS for yourself, and then let's see if for real. Hey, don't overdo it, son. Hey. I hate these guys. I hate these drone operators, man. You can't dodge them. They're OP, man. They are overpowered. Ugh. And I'm not getting any more momentum ability. Yeah. Hey. I'm gonna take them out loud. Don't worry. I got you. I got something for you. I'm gonna explode. Here you go. Hold this bow staff to the face real quick. Oh, it blew up again and still got me. Oh my gosh. Now they want to embarrass me. But my frame times are pretty. They are beautiful. They are not. Look at that 16.6 right there. My goodness. The math is almost flawless when you actually take things into account. So, this is about to ruin my mission. Hey. Get lost. And so at the end of the day, and like I said, it's a caveat. Indoors, you're going to get basically beautiful frame rates. And I'm sure the game would have run. If the game was fully indoors, like maybe they created like a game that you played mostly, most of the game in, say, Arkham Asylum or, Gotham, some prison or some hospital or whatever, and they didn't let you go outside, you would have been fine. But once you hit the open world, your CPU budget starts to show itself. Like, can my CPU actually do this? And that's the question a lot of people aren't asking with their consoles. They just think that the consoles are somehow exempt from the laws of physics or whatever it is. But this is not the case. What you find is the case is your console will obey hardware physics as well as the art side of things. Now, I have to tell you, though, like when I look at the, Gotham Knights and the structures and all, I think the developers basically did their best when it comes to instancing the whole world. But again, this world is actually quite big, so expect that, you'll be requiring, a significant budget to be able to run things very well. Don't touch me. These guys don't understand. Oh, whoop, he's going to come back. Let's go. Freeze him. Freeze, human. Okay, so 50-something FPS overall. GPU usage is GPU temper is about 60 degrees. GPU usage goes anywhere from about 60 to 70% in some cases. CPU cores are firing beautifully. I mean, again, your hardware is going to pretty much limit this, and changing and I'm going to show you, what, I'm going to do a small test. And I'm going to show you at 1440 how changing the resolution is not going to give you 50% FPS jump. It's not going to just somehow spit out another extra change in terms of, the 16 ms that you're getting. Some parts are rough. Look at that little patch just now. That part there, probably something is wrong over here. This part probably needs some of these structures and textures to basically be reworked. Or maybe it was just something in the game that caused a spike. Maybe AI popping somewhere. Oh, look at that. There are some parts in this game that you can tell there's some activity going on. Something is off here. Something is off here when it comes to traversal too. You can see, you could tell. If you just pay attention to the way the game, behaves, you can tell that there's some parts of the city that need work. And then there's some parts where at the end of the day, like once you land here, we're going to notice we have like a stable 60 FPS because everything is mainly loaded. Oh, he's still under shock. Goodness. Anyways, that's pretty much my video. I wanted to go ahead and, I guess not. NPCs say no. I shocked. I think I may have iced this guy. Yeah. Hey. Yee. Yeah. Hey. Hey. Hit him with the. Hey. 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 They wanted to come out and play, so I thought I'd indulge them a little bit. Hey. 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 White Knight, you did not learn how to play this game, boy. You should have learned, White Light. I just thought I'd throw that in there. Thanks so much for watching. Appreciate you guys so much, and peace out.